Hello, I'm Khari Douglas, the host of the Computing Community Consortium's Catalyzing Computing podcast. And today I'll be interviewing Andreas Matt, founder and CEO of IMAGINARY, a nonprofit organization for the communication of modern mathematics, as part of Traversing Separation with the Heidelberg Laureate Forum Foundation. We'll be discussing open source exhibitions and how the pandemic has altered how those exhibitions are designed. So thanks for being here, Andreas. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. Uh, it's quite late. The kids are sleeping, and yeah, I'm motivated.
So could you tell me a little bit about yourself? What is Imaginary? How did that get started?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm a mathematician by training. I also studied some computer science and philosophy. And how did it all start? I think I was sitting in Pakistan. I did some social international development work in Pakistan. I got an email that they were looking for somebody to devise a mathematics museum in Germany, and that came from the Oberwolfach Institute, so which is one of the most renowned institutes in mathematics worldwide. And it looked like a nice offer, so I told him yes, I'm ready for it. And a couple of months later, I was sitting in a Black Forest in Germany, planning a mathematics museum, and this was for the German Year of Mathematics 2008, so quite some time ago. And Germany has these science years, and this was the first time that mathematics was like chosen as a science year. And yeah, we started not with the museum, we started with an exhibition that made more sense, and yeah, came up with the name Imaginary, because it had yeah, we wanted to have a very visual exhibition. So geometry was a big part, and this kind of imaginary, or like I think the first title was even unimaginary, like to make it to show the abstract, and so yeah, so this was the idea. I would not say that I'm the founder of Imaginary, because of course the Oberwolfach Institute and the former director Gerd Martin Goyle was like a big driving force behind that whole project. And it was a project for 1 year, like a traveling exhibition for 1 year in Germany. And then from year to year, it changed, it grew, it dynamically became something else. We kept the name. It's interesting. So it was the name of an exhibition, and now it's the name of a nonprofit that was founded 4 years ago. Oberwolfach is still a shareholder of that nonprofit, and we're based in Berlin. And now what we do is we communicate modern mathematics. So that's we still do the same, but we don't focus anymore on purely geometry. This was maybe for many people still they still think, if they look at Imaginary, they still think about these algebraic surfaces. But we do all types of mathematics, be it mathematics and music, mathematics and AI, now mathematics and climate crisis, mathematics, whatever, but in an open way. So our subtitle would be Imaginary Open Mathematics. So the idea is to have everything open source, and also to have it open in a way that it's participative, collaborative. So we really, first of all, work closely with researchers, but also with the public, and it's like breaking hierarchies in a way that we jointly create. So I think that's the thing. It's not like we do something for others; we jointly create, and that creative part has been there from the beginning.
Right. Very cool. I did go to the La La Land exhibition when I
Yeah.
was at HLF last year.
Did you see it? They're cool.
Yeah, it was super cool. So what exactly is the connection between Imaginary and the HLF Foundation and the Mathematic Informatics Station?
Yeah, I mean, the Mainz has a lot of public outreach activities aside the HLF. So during the year, they organize all types of events, like a film festival and also exhibitions. And we did several exhibitions with them. So the first Imaginary Through the Eyes of Mathematics exhibition was shown there. Our other exhibition, Mathematics of Planet Earth. Now the Lala Lab exhibition was kind of jointly created for Mainz or with Mainz. And so they're very, very close ties. And now we know each other for so many years. So I think we jointly communicate mathematics now. And they have, that's really cool that they have this big space. It's probably, even if you look at the square meters, one of the biggest math museum or computer science museum in the world. And yeah, at the HLF, we had a small Lala Lab exhibition last year, and we presented some of our, like, this project snapshots of modern mathematics together with Oberwolfach was shown there. So they're close, very close ties.
Nice. So how do you think, like in general, making math real helps people to better understand and connect to it by
Yeah,
making it so hands-on?
that's it's a good question, especially the word real. What does it mean real? I mean, um, entering philosophy, mathematics is, for me, is real. Like it's real in my mind, in my brain. I don't have to make it other real in different ways. But what I think is very cool or extremely attractive, if you make mathematics, how would you call it, interactive in a way, and of course interactive through your senses, or through your, I don't know, by being able to manipulate it, to change it quickly, to get some feedback in a way, and to create with mathematics. uh, and for the general public, of course, very often you cannot only work with equations. We usually don't hide the equations, or equations are always there, and the theory, but we add other layers. So I don't know, we don't show you the um, algebraic equation only. We also show you the surface that it creates. If it's in 3 variables, you can show it, and then you change the equation, you change the image, which is the same, would also change. And it's so nice to have this kind of direct feedback, and to be able to play, to experiment, also to, I think, to break things, just to, I don't know, to make it like a sand toolbox,
Yeah.
and that's what mathematics is. And if you have in your communication formats, you have this kind of open, free, creative toolbox, then it's kind of cool. And by playing with this toolbox, I don't know, you start understanding, or you start whatever, being interested. Your curiosity level, your motivation level would go up. And once it's up, then you read all the papers you want. Then you read the
Right.
book, or then you think about it. So,
Yeah. That introductory level, I think, is important for sure. So can you discuss any like major exhibits? I know, poking around on your website, the surfer exhibit looked really cool.
yeah.
A- and I know the I am AI exhibit is, you're going to be talking about that at HLF
Yeah,
this year.
yeah, yeah.
So what are those?
So I mean, the surfer exhibit was maybe one of our first. Um, I don't know if you want to call it a killer exhibit, but it's an exhibit that's so attractive in many terms for all types of audiences. That's cool if you manage. And the idea is, it's like, in technical terms, it's a real-time ray tracing program for algebraic surfaces. In non-technical terms, you have a simple equation, an x square plus y square minus whatever,
Mm-hmm.
set to the set cube equals 2, and then you just change the x, the y, the cube, whatever, and at the same time you see the creating surface. So you have the 3 variables in the 3 directions, and you can point, or like display all the points that solve this equation. And this kind of real-time relation, that you have the equation, I change it and I see the surface and I can turn it. You can also apply colors, whatever, but in terms of exhibit, it's so amazing how many things you can do. You can do all types of really, really complicated visualizations, or you just play around. You take the equation of a sphere, and instead of squares, you put cubes, and then you see what happens. So it's like a lot of experiments you can do. And that exhibit inspired so many things. I mean, it was updated, I don't know, for 10 years. We were constantly working on it, and we did worldwide video competitions using surfer image competitions. It was used for, I don't know, for fashion show. There was a Michelin star chef, and he made like dishes, like 5-star dishes in his restaurant based on these surfer surfaces, and so many things, like outdoor exhibitions, indoor workshops for schools. They used the program at like university level,
Wow.
and it's so nice. It's so nice that it can really go to all types of target groups and ages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Imaginary is open source. So how does that work? How can someone who's interested contribute to that?
Yeah, that's. I mean, maybe when we did the very first exhibition, this was even in 2007, before the German year started. I think on the second day. So the exhibition started on the second day. We got an email from a visiting school, and they said, "Can we have these images to make a small school exhibition?" I said, "Yes, of course." And I sent them a zip package with all the images. And then this happened at almost any exhibition. And at one point, sending like big download links, we said, okay, let's make it. And always asking the authors, would it be okay if they show it too? So we established open source exhibition platform. This was also with the support of the Klaus Tschira Foundation, who is also behind the HLF or connected to the HLF. So this was really cool. In 2013, we started this platform, and the idea was of course to make all the exhibits we had open in a way. And the idea is the digital data of everything we have. So it's not only whatever digital data of images of software programs, but also of whatever, be all the design packages, the posters and the flyers, but also maybe the funding proposals, the exhibition guides, whatever we have, and in a neutral way we can offer. And of course, once you have that infrastructure, we also made it open for everybody to create a user account and upload exhibits, in different formats. So be it 3D data for 3D prints, or I don't know, construction manuals for physical exhibits, whatever in a way you could upload. A lot of the infrastructure changed a lot, and also this open source philosophy. When we started, it was very new. We had to explain to everybody what is a Creative Commons license. And nowadays, it's different. And you have like really cool platforms that you can use too, and it's changed a lot. Still, this kind of hybrid, because it's not software. It's like a hardware open source thing. It's an open source exhibition, and like we are constantly advocating to museums to make them open source. There are some museums now open sourcing, and it's so cool. Like there's a lot happening also with this open science movement. So it's going into the open science communication, which is cool.
So have any notable exhibits come about because of people just uploading stuff that you found interesting?
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because nowadays when people do exhibitions, they look at the whole catalog, and all the exhibits that we create in our exhibitions, they're also contributions. It's never, of course, I mean, maybe the surfer exhibits, we did a lot of our own development work, but it's always constantly in close collaboration with researchers. So if you look at Lab, there were so many contributors, and they created their own exhibits and modules and uploaded them, and then they became that exhibition. And then at one point, for example, the second exhibition, Mathematics of Planet Earth, the whole exhibition was a competition. So who has a cool exhibit? And then we created this competition together with UNESCO. And then at one point, the winner entries and the good entries became the exhibition. So it's interesting. But I mean, we have this kind of, there's a quality filter. So whenever you upload something, it goes into the user playground exhibits, and then once the exhibit is shown at one exhibition, it becomes an exhibit. So then it goes into the exhibition category. And of course, there's a difference. I mean, if you have any software programs, it might not be super useful in terms of user interface or stability. Or if you have any image, the resolution would not be high enough to really be used in an exhibition. And you have to also apply some quality control, but that kind of happens automatically.
So how do you think the pandemic has altered how exhibitions are designed? I mean, obviously, it's tough to be in a large group of people. So,
I mean, that's super interesting. I mean, we have at the moment we have this one exhibition, Lab, which is still on show. They changed the way how you interact with the touchscreen. So now you have like a kind of plastic extension to your finger that they can disinfect. And now for the new exhibitions that we are doing, we are looking, everybody's looking into, of course, how the pandemic is changing, that nobody knows. And very often we're in touch with the museums. Some museums are very positive. They will say, no, it's fine. I mean, in 1 year, do the exhibit as you usually do it. But then we are also exploring whatever. There are a whole series of technologies that you can use, be it eye tracking or foot control, all types of things that are not directly, crossing touches. But I think so far we are still in the exploring new technologies, but also not just to use them, also to maybe they add another value. So it's not an excuse technology. It's maybe a new idea, but we are still observing how everything is happening, and at the moment a lot is happening online, so there is no touch there, and we don't know. So that's maybe the other thing that we bring exhibitions online, and we do digital exhibitions, which is new for us, and somehow it felt a bit more boring because you don't have you don't feel the visitors. But now we do a lot of this guided school tours and and online workshops and things. So people are there. They're there virtually, but they're still there, and you still get a lot of feedback, and you have good collaboration tools. So that's interesting. So that's maybe the like adding also with these digital conferences, So it's like adding a new layer, which doesn't replace the old format at all, but which adds some other really cool, really nice things, and you can attend a conference without, I don't know, traveling there. That's cool. That's cool too.
Yeah, I was playing with the digital AI exhibit online. Yeah. Was that always supposed to be online, or was that only because of the pandemic?
No. The idea was to actually we had when was it? April 20 was the opening ceremony at Mainz in Heidelberg. Everything planned, and of course we had to postpone that. And then at one point, Carl Zeiss Foundation, who was financing the exhibition, the physical exhibition, it was always planned to be only physical, but we came up with that idea to bring parts of it online. It's difficult because these are exhibits, AI exhibits. They take a lot of computer power, and they need big. It's not so easy just to put them in the web. So that's why we couldn't put all the exhibits online yet. But we are still. Now we'll probably add some more, and it has been a nice adventure for us also to put to explore new formats like this trail format. We have this interactive video format, so it's interesting.
Yeah, the interactive video thing was something I hadn't really experienced before. So people should go check that out so they know what we're talking about. I guess, what advice would you have for someone who wants to create a similar kind of open source project?
I would say just be be bold and make it as open as possible, and do what you want, and do what you like, and this would spread motivation. And maybe also, just putting things open source doesn't mean that people are using it. That's also, would say, okay, make it open source, and then you wait and nobody looks at your repository. So of course you would need a marketing. Collaborate, talk to a lot of people, network, collaborate, and stay positive. And I think that's like the most important thing is that you identify, and if you do good work and you identify and you stay open, people will join you, and then it would spread somehow.
Right.
Yeah, and if you need more advice, there is a lot of. I think we even wrote about this. So I don't know. Be non-formal and be quick in communication. That's a good advice. So if people want to join you, don't let them wait 2 weeks. If you apply, it might sound logical, but it's a small advice that would help.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess we should probably wrap up soon, but do you have any other thoughts that you hope people take away from this that related to the Imaginary project?
Yeah, maybe coming back to that creative toolbox. I think that's, if you think of exhibits. I have this one story. I was in India giving a workshop on mathematics communication, and I was invited to a museum, and they showed me this super brand new exhibit on nuclear power. And they said it's highly interactive. I said, wow, cool. Can I see it? And then they had this information screen, and below they had 27 buttons. They said, now, here you can choose the language. So it's interactive. So it's interactive, but it was a clear example of interactivity with very limited options logically. You change the language, but you can also scale this up and say, okay, anyway, most of the exhibits, they have n options. It's n, and n high doesn't matter, but it's limited. You cannot surprise the author of the exhibit. You cannot surprise yourself at one point, and it doesn't mean that you can do out of every exhibit like this kind of toolbox. But I don't know. Also, looking at my kids, it's so nice just to play openly. Create and break and experiment and do crazy things. And if you have in exhibits or exhibitions, you have these options to do I don't know, something super creative. That's just nice, and that's motivating, and that's also probably close to mathematics. Play, create, think, brainstorm, observe, create, and if you can manage this, that's cool. So let's try to build this type of exhibitions or exhibits or collaborations.
Yeah, well, I think that's a good way to close things out. So thanks for being here, and have a good night.
Thanks, Khari. See you.